Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor today, sitting alongside Bethany Mandel. Good morning, Bethany.
Good morning.
It is 5:07 a.m. on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. Going to be I know I'm giving you the energy this morning. I'm going to be a little bit more subdued, obviously, given the weighty nature of the subjects we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be breaking down not just the memorial, the Charlie Kirk Memorial Service held yesterday, but also with some local activities that were going on as well. Going to be joined by Jacob Grossman, who is a University of Maryland student. He's a Jewish student, talking about the problems of anti-Semitic activities on his campus ahead of the Jewish holidays. Not just confined, Bethany, to the University of Maryland campus, because, of course, France and the UK have decided to use Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, to recognize Palestine. We're going to be talking about that probably. We got Joe DeGeneva joining us in the 7 a.m. hour, legal analyst, former U.S. attorney to the District of Columbia. So action-packed. You never know. We may have more folks joining us as the show goes on. So yeah, I'm in for Larry today. Bethany, I think you and I were both glued to our TVs. I did go to a local Charlie Kirk Memorial Service last evening as well, but it was interesting to me. It was a big event. Everybody was there. It's so funny because we do have lots of clips here. I'm going to play this one from Tyler Bowyer in a moment, but I think it was Tyler Bowyer who looked up to his upper right and said, Charlie's got a great bit of FOMO right now, which I thought was nice. I mean, what do you mean? What were your sort of immediate thoughts about this memorial service yesterday?
I thought it was really incredible. I mean,
yeah.
I one of the things that I hope that more people take from this is how professional and incredible the TPUSA staff is.
Yes.
They put together this incredible event with 1 week's notice, and it's not like Charlie was sick and they knew this was coming and they were preparing, all of the assets and everything. I mean, this gets a little too technical in the event planning space, but they did all of this on the heels of the most shocking and devastating event of all of their lives.
Right.
And they put together an event that would have taken a normal organization 6 to 9 months to pull off. They did it flawlessly.
Right.
The video, the state, everything. The fact I saw so many of our friends on the floor with credentials. They had to put all of those credentials and the lists together. And the TPUSA staff did this in the middle of grief.
Right.
And I was just blown away. And somebody asked on Twitter when I posted about it, who paid for this? Because all of this costs a great deal of money to put together.
Right.
I don't know that answer. Do you?
Well, no. I mean, let's be really clear. I mean, I think Turning Point USA has become very, and rightly so, because it does such good work. It has become well funded over the years.
Right,
I mean, one of my favorite moments yesterday was Rebecca Dunn, who's been involved with the organization. Now, I knew Rebecca Dunn and her husband Bill from their days funding organizations within the libertarian movement. I didn't realize how involved they were in Turning Point USA. But, that to me is a sign of the recognition of competence. Bill and Rebecca Dunn do not fund organizations that are not competently run.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm sorry, so go right ahead.
No, I mean, I was just going to say I donated to TPUSA after the event, and I think more people should do the same.
Well, there's some talk about the number of campus organizations on high school and college campuses, and I know we're going to spend some time talking about this Turning Point USA and this movement and how it plays into the conservative movement generally, because you and I have been involved in movement politics for long enough. We've seen things come and go, and we've seen what can destroy aspects of the conservative movement. But let's go here to one of the most human moments of it. Certainly humanized it all for me. Here is the chief operating officer of Turning Point USA, Tyler Bowyer, who'd been with Charlie Kirk since the beginning, talking about Charlie's wife, Erica. Let's play cut number 1.
I got a call from Miss Erica Kirk, Miss Arizona 2012. I just want to help, she said. So naturally, I put her right behind the president at that first rally. After that, we talked. It was obvious she was the perfect person for the job that Charlie and I had devised in one of our 24-hour planning sessions. I wanted to hire her. I only had one problem. Charlie Kirk wanted to date her. Long story short, I was very worried he was going to scare her off and screw it up. And I was going to lose this incredible prospect. Like all things he put his mind to, Charlie accomplished everything he put his mind to. They immediately fell in love, and I lost an employee. But now she's my boss. I'm sure you've heard. We love Erica Kirk.
And, it's interesting because, it was, as you said, it was a masterful event. And it was an event that had to be held in a football stadium.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because of the outpouring of love for Charlie Kirk, it couldn't be held and it was, I think, the kind of a memorial service that would have been held in a church, but for the number of people who wanted to be there to support. To me, and I don't want to have the clip up here, Heather, if we can find it at some point. To me, one of the most poignant moments in all of it was Larry Arnn, the president of Hillsdale College.
I meant to watch that video on the way here. I forgot. Golly.
Well, no, we don't want you to watch it on the way. We, before would have been fine. No, but he talked about Charlie Kirk's intellectual curiosity and the fact that Larry Arnn, like me, I don't know about you, Bethany, but when I meet people who are coming up in the movement, I give them. I call it the hairy eyeball test. It's the same test I use when one of my kids is dating somebody. I give them the up and down. I sort of ask a couple of questions. And Larry Arnn tells this story in the memorial service about, asking Charlie Kirk about philosophy and about American history and asking him these questions. And Charlie Kirk, not having some great answers. I mean, because he's a young kid who doesn't know what he doesn't know. And going online and starting to take those Hillsdale courses. And apparently every time Charlie Kirk would take a Hillsdale course, he had gotten a hold of Larry Arnn's cell phone number and would text him a picture of the certificate of completion every time he would do it. And he said, Charlie Kirk was on a very short list of young people that I've sort of that I think are outstanding. And the only one who was not a Hillsdale College student, and that was amazing to me. Yeah. I thought that was a wonderful testament.
I love Hillsdale. I love so much of. I mean, it's possible to self-educate yourself.
Yeah,
and Charlie was, one of the best examples of that. I was inspired actually last night as I was laying in bed, not able to sleep because I was making a list of all my Rosh Hashanah.
Yes.
to-do lists for today.
Sure.
I sent a message to some girlfriends in the neighborhood and I said, I want to start a book club.
Yeah.
And in my heart, it was like, I want to better myself like Charlie did. And I need to read more. I need to self-educate better. And that was inspired by Charlie last night. So it was really inspiring to see that Larry Arnn spoke because Hillsdale is one of the best hopes for the salvation of Western civilization.
Well, and hopes in terms of the fact that it's not just who it is, right? There are no progressive students at Hillsdale. You're either conservative or libertarian,
right?
At least that's always been sort of my philosophy about this. And they don't take any government money, and it's if you're not gonna anyway, it's a very, very unique place to be. Listen, we will continue this discussion of Charlie Kirk and other things in just a moment, but first, it is 5:15 a.m.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
So there was a poignant moment yesterday, Bethany. One of Charlie Kirk's wishes, as they were talking about it, was that the president and Elon Musk get back together. We all saw the imagery of Elon Musk in the president's booth. I thought that was a hopeful sign, didn't you?
I did. I saw some lip readers trying to get a sense of it was good. Trying to get a sense of what was said, and it was basically, a making of amends. And tonight starts Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year.
Shana Tova to you.
Toda.
Yeah.
And it's all about making this season, especially leading into Yom Kippur, is about making amends and looking forward to a new year and seeing how you can improve yourself and all of those things. And I thought it had a very Yom Kippur Rosh Hashanah feel to it. Because their union was so much of what fueled so much of President Trump's victory.
Yeah.
And I hope that, their conversations can continue, because ultimately Charlie's goal was what both of their goals are, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And I think he would have been gratified to see that they were making amends. I think it's the right thing to do.
It's these moments where you have to take stock of what's going on in your life. When people are cut down in whatever way around you, it's this wake-up call moment. Obviously, one of the most poignant aspects of yesterday's memorial service was Erica Kirk speaking. I want to go here because, we've heard the story about her. Maybe we haven't. We'll talk about this in a second. Erica Kirk, you've seen Charlie's body, but here she is talking with Usha Vance, the vice president's wife, the second lady, that she didn't know if she could make it. Let's go ahead and play cut number 4.
God's love continued to be revealed to me in the days that followed. The next day on the tarmac in Air Force Two, I confronted Usha Vance, precious woman. I held her hand and I told her, honestly, I do not know how I am going to get through this. She told me something. She said, when you're on an airplane with your kids and it's the last 15 minutes of the flight and things are crazy, kids are not cooperating, toys are flying everywhere and everyone's screaming, and you think to yourself, I cannot wait for this flight to land. And it's 15 minutes before you land. And she told me, you will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 minutes after that. Usha, I don't think you realized it then, but those words were exactly what I needed to hear. But most of all, God's mercy and God's love have been revealed to me these past 10 days. After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting.
And, it gets into something that I talk about with my kids. And I'm sure, to answer your question, right, about the staff producing this event, right? You keep your head down, you keep focused on what's in front of you. When my kids are going through very anxiety-producing times, when they seem to be overwhelmed, we have an adage in our family: how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You take it one bite at a time here. We got more to get to. It's 5:22 a.m. So we've got a lot that we're going to continue to unpack in this, Bethany, don't we? We got a lot of things to talk about in terms of the Charlie Kirk Memorial.
Yeah, it was 5 hours, I think, from start to finish.
Yes, it was a good chunk, and that's not us saying that it was too long. It was just the right length, and it had the right mix of things that were going on. The right mix of friends and family and staff and famous people and administration officials. We're going to get to those. We're going to get to what the president had to say. So stay tuned throughout the show today, because we're going to have it running through this. And after the news, we are going to shift gears for a little bit because there is other stuff happening in the world. Listen, everybody's talking about communism. Charlie Kirk talked about communism and the advance of communism. And we're going to be talking about Chuck Schumer and Zoran Mamdani. We're also going to be talking about what's been going on with up in New Hampshire, this story in New Hampshire that nobody else seems to be talking about. So stay tuned. You want to stay tuned, obviously, to all 4 hours of O'Connor and Company. It is 5:30 a.m. on WMAL.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Welcome back, everybody. I am Andrew Langer in for Larry O'Connor today, sitting alongside Bethany Mandel. Hello, Bethany.
Good morning.
And a happy autumnal equinox. I always get that backwards. Autumnal equinox to you.
Yeah,
it's fall. Happy fall. Happy fall.
Happy fall.
Well,
okay.
You go and you build an arbor. Right? I'm sorry.
Maybe I dip the apples in the honey.
That's exactly where I was
Shana
going.
Tova, everyone.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Listen, it is 5:37 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. We are making sense of the news. We got a great show today. Obviously going to be spending a lot of time talking about the Charlie Kirk Memorial yesterday, which was so heartening and inspiring and sad. I mean, but, anyway, it makes you think. But we got, listen, all kinds of stuff going on. Joe DeGeneva is going to be joining us in the 7 a.m. hour, and we are going to be talking about the rise of anti-Semitism. I mean, as we're going into the Jewish High Holy Days, for France and the UK to recognize Palestine, timing, folks. Timing is everything. Listen, we got Jacob Grossman, who's a student at the University of Maryland. He's going to be joining us to talk about some very disturbing anti-Semitic incidents on the University of Maryland campus ahead of the Jewish holidays. In the meantime, as we are talking about this and as the left desperately tries to paint the violence, political violence, as a both sides thing, we had yet another event over the weekend, another tragic event. A gunman shot up a New Hampshire country club, shouting "Free Palestine." I mean, this is a crazy story, Bethany. I mean, obviously, I know you were disturbed by this, weren't you?
So what I found strange and confusing and interesting about this was that it was a wedding. Was it a Jewish wedding? Like, what led him to target this, or was it random? I don't think we have an answer here, but that is one question I have. The second question I have is, why did it get no attention?
Right.
This is yet another data point in a long stream of people shouting "Free Palestine" before they commit violence.
Yeah.
It is a pattern. It is a well-documented pattern at this point, and the refusal of the mainstream media to recognize it is really, really interesting and telling.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, it gets back to this issue of the timing of what's happening in the UK and France. You and I were talking offline before the show started about the polling data in places like the UK not supporting these issues. But essentially what we are seeing, and this is the goal of terrorism, right? This is part of the reason why, President Trump has been talking about designating Antifa as a terrorist organization in the United States. One of the problems with terrorism is that it can be just darned effective in brainwashing people and terrorizing people, getting them to bend to their political will. And so you get these incidents. Hunter Nadeau, 23 years old, charged with murder following this deadly shooting about 40 miles north of Boston. The goal is to get people so spun up and freaked out that a nation in which 90% of the people do not support the recognition of Palestine as a nation all of a sudden turn around and recognize it, and not just recognize Palestine as an independent state, but doing it at the start of the Jewish New Year.
Yeah. And doing it at the start of the New Year, yes, absolutely. Yes. But also, they, at least the leader of Canada, claimed that he would wait until hostages were released. Yep. Not only are hostages not released, including, by the way, American citizens whose remains are being held hostage to American citizens, but Hamas released videos of starving hostages being forced to dig their own graves.
Right.
And the response of the West, of these, some of the oldest democracies in the world, was to reward these violent terrorists with a state. Over the weekend, there was video released from Gaza of blindfolded Palestinians being executed in plain sight because they were accused of collaborating with the Zionist enemy, aka the State of Israel. Who knows if they were or not? But public execution. These are the demons that control Gaza right now, and Western democracies decided to reward them.
Yeah. It is again an insane way of viewing the world and rewarding the folks doing the exact thing that terrorists. Right, there's a reason why Reagan said we don't negotiate with terrorists. Yep. Why it has been the policy of Israel throughout its existence to not negotiate with terrorists, because when you negotiate with the terrorists, at the end of the day, you get more terrorism. It encourages more terrorism. Listen, we've got so much more to get to, because we're going to be talking about how this is now playing out once again in New York with the New York mayoral election, which is a huge situation. We're going to be talking about that in a moment. It is 5:43 right here on WMAL.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We are back. I'm Andrew Langer alongside Bethany Mandel. Good morning, Bethany.
Good morning, Andrew. It's so nice to be here with you.
Thank you. On the first day of autumn. I don't call it. I just call it fall. It's not hard for me. But fall, Bethany, means in many American cities it's election season. There's a mayoral race going on in New York. I don't know if you're aware of this. Are you aware of this, Bethany? That there's an out-and-out socialist running for mayor of New York.
I am. So here's a fun fact for you. Not only a socialist, but a Jew hater.
Yes.
Running to become mayor of the largest Jewish city in the world.
Yes.
Not the country, the world. There are more Jews that live in New York City for now than anywhere else in the world. One of my favorite things that I saw, I think it was Ron DeSantis post when there was a photo of Bernie Sanders and AOC and Mamdani, and he said, thank you to the best real estate agents basically in Florida, because there's going to be a massive exodus.
Let me tell you, I should have pulled this up. I may send this to you, Heather, in our show prep document, because I think it's The Atlantic has a whole thing basically carping about people who move to Florida and how they don't care about Florida. It's mildly, maybe not so mildly anti-Semitic. In any case, what I also love about this race is that it has put the Democratic Party, right? It's also, I'm going to say this, right, Bethany, that New York may be the city with the most Jewish people in the world. I think it's also the city with the most Democrats in the world. And that's not a joke. It's not an overstatement of it. And here the two go hand in hand. The Democrats are trying to figure out just what they ought to do here with Mamdani. So Chuck Schumer was on with Dana Bash yesterday and tried to get him to endorse. Let's go ahead and play cut number 6.
Before I let you go, speaking of candidates, you've been asked numerous
times.
Hold on.
Michael, stop that for a second. Before I let you go, which means that there's a whole interview that happens before this, before she asks Chuck Schumer about this. I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
Before I let you go, speaking of candidates, you've been asked numerous times if you will endorse Zohran Mamdani for New York City mayor. You always say you're going to continue to talk. There are two key questions here that you haven't answered. One is, will you ever endorse him? And two, what do you need from him to get your endorsement?
Okay. Well, first of all, I know him. We've had a good relationship in the past, and we had a good meeting 2 weeks ago, a very long meeting with a lot of serious questions. And all I can tell you is I'm going to continue talking to him.
What's the holdup?
I got to continue talking to him, and that's what I'm going to do.
So can we flash back for a moment?
Yes, please. I know where you're going with this. maybe Chuck Schumer's a little salty about something, Bethany. This is what you're going to tell me.
We had a good relationship in the past. Let's get back in the Wayback Machine to October of 2023, when Mamdani was arrested protesting outside of Chuck Schumer's home. Which, let's break that down, okay? Yeah. October 2023, when Israel had done basically nothing in response to the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust.
Right.
Mamdani decides to protest outside of the Jewish member of Congress's home.
Right.
Home?
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
That American Jews were terrified in October of 2023, and Mamdani decided to victimize, and I'm not a Chuck Schumer defender here,
right.
Okay? He decided this moment calls for protesting the Jew outside his home.
Yes.
And the gutlessness of Chuck Schumer not to say he can go walk off a bridge.
Sure.
I'll do a lot of things for politics, Donna, but I won't endorse a man who terrorized me outside of my home.
Right.
He doesn't talk about that. We've had a relationship. That's like me saying I had a relationship with the guy who stalked me in college. We never had a relationship. You've imagined this relationship. It's the same thing, and it is really, really pathetic what Chuck Schumer is doing, because he has decided to kowtow to not even a Democrat. He's a socialist. He's a member of the DSA. I don't understand why Democrats are allowing their party to be taken over by DSA members, but it will be their undoing.
Some of this, is the terrorism working? Is it the fact that the Democrats have no identity and they don't know what to do, right? The Democrats don't have a Charlie Kirk to help them sort of suss out where that party needs to go. But you hit the nail on the head, right? It's not as though Mamdani is going to win or lose based upon Chuck Schumer's endorsement. And so there is zero political capital that Chuck Schumer really risks in standing up for himself. Lord knows. Let's quickly, before we go to the break, let's hear this ad that Canary Mission put out. Let's play cut number 7.
Zohran Mamdani was arrested outside Senator Chuck Schumer's home.
We needed to be arrested.
Now some Democrats are pressuring Schumer to endorse him.
How the major Democratic leaders in New York State are not supporting the Democratic candidate.
We had a good meeting. We know each other well.
Less than a week after Hamas massacred Israeli civilians, Zohran Mamdani shamelessly joined an anti-Israel mob outside Senator Schumer's home.
Mamdani tells me he would gladly participate in future protests.
Zohran Mamdani belongs to the DSA, an extremist group that seeks Israel's destruction and stages constant street protests in New York.
We are special as DSA electeds.
On the day of his arrest, Mamdani was said to be with a group called Jews Against Genocide, despite the fact that Zohran Mamdani is not Jewish.
BDS! BDS!
Zohran Mamdani is a fraud and an anti-Semite. One thing he is certainly not is a Democrat. Say no to extremism. No to Mamdani.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, this is what the Democrats are going through right now in New York, and actually not just in New York, but generally they're the ones who are going to have to grapple this. We got more to come. It's 5:53 here on O'Connor and Company, WMAL.